Yo, Laurent,
Yo,
congratulations.
thank you. But what are you
Guard,
congratulating me for?
giving you the guard of honor for your teams, for your
Ah,
seventh team or eighth team.
well, funny. I thought you were, trying to congratulate me for the Chelsea win over Everton, but
No. That's not even the win. I do have to give a quick shout out. My cousin, he's a huge Liverpool fan. He was actually at the game with his brother. Um, Mass, love you, bro. Liverpool are still ass. This is a PGMOL trophy, but you enjoy it. This is the shittiest victory ever. Lowest. I think the Leicester win was better than this. Just have to say that. But anyways, Liverpool won. Congratulations, Liverpool fans. We went from a
Wait,
quadruple to
he was at Anfield?
yeah, he was at Anfield.
Oh, geez, that's lit.
Yeah. He called me from there as he's like walking and he's just giving me shit. He's just like, "Oh, next year FC, blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Shut up! You guys went from every year Liverpool goes from a quadruple to winning one trophy or zero." So but anyways, Liverpool won. Congratulations, Arsenal, and every other team that's facing them from here on out. Got to give them a guard of honor. All jokes aside, though, you got to give it to them. Mo Salah, fucking, if he doesn't get a statue, Liverpool are doing something wrong. Straight up, he's arguably the best right winger in the Premier League ever,
ever.
ever.
That's. I mean, Gareth Bale, I think, would have a bit to say about that.
No.
Gareth Bale?
Can
Yeah.
you hold on? So wait,
Actually,
hold
wait,
on,
hold on.
CJ. I actually have the option of actually booting someone from the recording. Let me just remove Laurent, put him in the waiting room, and then he can come back
Wait, hold
in.
on, hold on. Wait. Actually, maybe you know what? Because I just thinking Gareth Bale was mostly at his prime during his Real Madrid days, if anything. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So I guess not in the Premier.
It's
Yeah.
it's the longevity that gives Salah the edge over Bale in the Prem.
Yeah.
Mm,
The only person, depending on the formation that you go for, maybe we can save this for the summertime when we have a little bit more freedom. But the only argument that you could go for is depending on if you're taking Henry as on the left wing, you could argue Ronaldo over Salah. But honestly, you put TT center forward, Ronaldo left wing, and Salah right wing. Arguably, like out and out, he is the greatest right winger in Premier League history. Hard stop. He's done it, and he's shown it season over season. This year specifically, I'm pretty sure we can all confidently say that if it wasn't for Salah turning 1-1 to 2-1 or 2-2 to 3-2, the title would have been a lot closer. He's had a historic season. There's not you can't say anything else about that.
yeah, and disappeared on two of very important games. That's to me. That's I guess it's a dark spot on his phenomenal season. But yeah, other than that, you're
Yeah,
right. Don't have much
those
to say.
two those two games took away his Ballon d'Or opportunity. Unfortunately,
Mm,
I think he's going to be like a Thierry Henry who should have won a Ballon d'Or but didn't, and that's going to be something. But he's won everything else, so
Yeah, he's won
again,
the Champions League already too. Like he's not super bothered, I wouldn't think.
no. But again, congratulations, Liverpool. All the banter aside, congratulations. You guys
thank
did
you.
great. This man said thank you, bro. You stick to your conference league. So don't even. I'll get you. I'll get to you. Don't worry. I'll get to you. Don't worry. Um, as always, welcome back. I don't want to make my alleged comment because someone's going to get a little triggered by it. But if you've listened to the last two pods, you know what alleged comment I'm talking about. As always, joined by my co-hosts, brothers, Laurent, the
Yo.
man who loves to, pick his football teams like his woman. He likes variety.
I
Doesn't
mean,
like one. He loves variety.
what man doesn't like variety? Come on. Let's
I'm
hear it from
just
the audience.
just saying, bro. And then we got the true committed men, myself and my homeboy CJ,
Ah,
always repping the
yes.
Arsenal. I got my Arsenal hat, my Arsenal shirt.
Mm,
CJ with a different kit today. Is that the Lucas
Bruce
Torreira
Banana.
here? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Bruce
yeah,
Banana
yeah.
Kit.
Yes,
Unai Emery
sir.
days.
Unai, yes, sir. Shout out Unai. Um, yeah, let's just dive in because we have a lot to talk about today. Um, a huge part of this pod is going to be the PSG breakdown. So if you're looking to that, skip to I'll probably say like the 40-minute point of the pod because that's when we'll get into it. But quickly brushing over the Premier League games. Not a lot of games this weekend. Um, First game, Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton again, leaky defense. Honestly, the big thing for them, very, very leaky defense. And they came back. They were able to do it. They came back, won 3-2. Mitoma and Baliba for Brighton. I don't understand how Brighton always finds these gems in the midfield. They just sold McAllister and Caicedo and then bring up Baliba. Like, where did they find like, what are they doing in their scouting that we're not? Because clearly what they're doing is working. Same goes for Chelsea because spending 100 mil for Caicedo, Laurent, you would say that he's, sorry, 120, my apologies. I'm pretty sure you would say that Caicedo's not worth 120.
No, I would agree.
Like when you compare it to Declan Rice for 105, who would you rather have? Be honest.
Hmm. I mean, I know currently the answer would be Declan Rice.
Okay.
Yeah, given the performance and whatnot. But I mean, I feel like Casado, he still has room to grow and to mature. Um, yeah, I think like, and I mean, in terms of like their style of play too, I feel like there are differences. Could I see Casado pulling off what Rice did? No, no.
Hmm.
I don't think that's a part of his game that he's developed yet, or I don't know if he's even looking to develop that part of his game. But overall, man, I think two good players in their own right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I can't knock either way. Yeah.
well, Brighton, from the looks of it, they're the Conference League is seventh spot. They're 6 points out. I don't really think they're gonna get there unless something crazy happens. Like Chelsea's obviously gonna win Conference League, and then if United or Spurs somehow win Europa, they may be able to get it in the eighth spot. So it's just a matter of them finishing as high as possible. Um,
I think
Speaking of Chelsea, oh sorry,
I wonder if something we would have to take into account is if because of the domino effect, right, of the Champions League spots. So if Champions League spots is now five as opposed to four, and then Europa League, does Europa League then get pushed back from five and six, getting Europa League to six and seven, getting Europa League, and
well
then
six
Conference League
six
become an
is
eight spot?
six right now. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, six right now is Europa. Seven is Conference League. So currently, Forest are Europa spot, Villa are Conference League. But yeah, I see your point. It might get pushed down.
Because I think if it was four teams for Champions League, then I think five and six traditionally would get the Europa spots.
Correct. Correct.
And then seven, therefore seven would be conference. But I wonder if now everything gets pushed back one because of five spots going to Champions League. So does it go
Yeah.
six, seven Europa, and then eight conference? Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So they got to keep pushing. If they finish top eight, anything can happen at that point. So, um, but on the Conference League, Chelsea squeeze a victory against Everton.
I mean,
Laurent,
squeezing a victory against Everton is an accomplishment in its own right, right? We know how Everton play, so it was hard fought. It was hard fought. Jackson was the guy that wanted for us, right? So, man, I think he hasn't scored in I don't know how
a
long.
hot
So,
minute before his
yeah,
injury.
yeah, yeah. So this was, a good goal for him. Hopefully, he can pick up on this goal, build up his confidence, and continue that going forward.
You got to just shout out David Moyes. Came back to Everton, and he's made them very, very difficult to beat. I'm giving you shit, but like Arsenal have struggled against the low block. They're very compact and they know what they're doing. So you got to shout them out. But yeah, Chelsea, you guys are tied with Forest on 60 points. But
Hmm.
you're winning on goal differential. Um, Forest do have a game in hand because they played FA Cup today.
Yes, they
So if
do.
Forest win that FA Cup, if they win that game in hand, they're going to be up to third place again on 63 points. So there's still a lot to play for. The Prem's pretty much relegation and championship is done, but the top four battle or top five battle is alive and well. Um, Newcastle, someone that you guys are chasing, man. Listen, CJ, I don't want to hear no Gyökeres. I don't want to hear no Sheshko. I don't want to hear Jonathan D. I don't want to hear any man's aside from Alexander Isak. Give the 150 mil. I don't give a shit. I genuinely, straight up, don't give a fuck. If we only get Isak and maybe Zubimendi, I'm fine. I'm okay with it. And we keep Partey. Hold on, pause. And if we keep Partey, right? If the rest of the team is the same, obviously with outgoings of Tierney, Jorginho, um, like the obvious outgoings. But if we get Isak and Zubimendi, I'll be happy because he is like the definition of a game changer is this man. I don't know if you guys see it any different way. I don't know if I'm just being like an Isak hoe, but I watch the highlights. Like he's just yeah. I don't know.
Wait, is this coming off of this game? Because yeah, I swear
No,
they got dealt with the game before that, right? So
not
uh
even the last game. Even though they got dealt with, just his movement,
mm,
the way that he pops up in the right places, the way that every time he touches the ball, and he's on that half turn, the way that he drives at the ball is what Martinelli does. But the difference is Isak actually keeps his head up,
mm,
right? So if Isak is coming off the left, for example, and he's coming off the left, Martinelli cuts inside and Saka is all the way in the right wing, like that last game when Martinelli easily could have crossed the ball and we would have won that game. What did he do? He had his head down. He didn't see Saka driving in from the right wing. But Isak would have his head up because he knows where the ball is.
mm.
That's the difference I'm talking about. Yes, I know they got dealt with, but it wasn't his fault. But just his aura and the fear that he puts on defenders. Now put Declan Rice, Odegaard, Zubimendi. You got Saka there. Like it's good. I think it would be. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say we're going to win the Prem with them, but I think that we push it way closer than this year.
I would say
Um,
we'd win the Premier. I think you'd make us favorites to win the Premier League if we had like an Isak, 100%.
Yes, this is what I like to hear. Recorded, it's been recorded, so we will come back to this if need
Well, it
be.
only if we only come back to it if we get Isak. If we don't get Isak, then it comes like a mute point, you know.
Yeah, no, just like we're gonna come back to the whole Real Madrid being this invisible force, right? We'll come back to that, but yeah,
So what you think we're gonna
so,
get Isak? Is that
huh?
what you're saying?
No, I'm saying after what you said, right? So it's the condition is, well, if you guys do get this guy, right? You're saying
Yeah.
you're winning the league or favorite to win the
No, I
league,
said
right?
favorites.
Yeah, yeah,
So we'll
favorite,
be
favorites. Yeah,
favorites.
that's why I retracted, bro. That's good.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
sorry there, but
Just make sure, you know.
yeah, no,
Bro,
drinking the
the apple juice is in the veins, Laurent.
Trust me.
yeah, yeah.
That's some
Uh,
real good apple juice.
yeah, for real, for real. You're gonna have to put us on. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just drinking by yourself down there, man. But
Uh,
yeah, no, honestly, to be honest though, like if I'm being frank, I do think you guys get yourself a clinical goal scorer. It makes all the difference in terms of those games where those points go the other way, right? Or the games that you guys tied, right? I think double digits in terms of games tied,
13.
right?
13.
Currently, 13.
13.
Yeah, that's a lot. So,
You know what the
so
fucked up part is? Sorry, Laurent. You know what the fucked up part is? Newcastle actually have more wins on the year than us.
oh yeah.
Newcastle have 19 wins. Arsenal have 18, tied with City.
Oh, right, right. Mm,
Obviously, we have 3 losses, 13 draws, which
right.
gives us that 5 point difference. But um, 13 draws.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's not too simple, but the Prem's fun anyways. One of the relegated teams, Southampton, again, another loss. Feel bad for Rambo. Um, Emil Smith Rowe, ex Arsenal, and Sessegnon, ex Spurs. They came, scored just to help Fulham go through. Again, Fulham sitting in that eighth spot, which, depending on how things progress, that might be the Conference League spot. So, it's there isn't really much to say about that aside from Aaron Ramsey being linked with Chelsea and Manchester United for a potential move next summer. I think he's got like a 30 mil release clause depending on if they get relegated, which they are relegated. So I think someone's going to trigger that. Mateus Cunha, sorry. If it wasn't for his attitude issues, CJ, I would love him at Arsenal because he is a baller. He is a freaking baller. But there isn't really much to say. Like Ruud van Nistelrooy, I think not that the job is too big for him, but I just don't think. I think he's very one-dimensional, and I don't think he has the players to do it. So I'm curious to see if Leicester part ways with him at the end of the year, or they just keep him and give him the year in the championship to see if he can bring them back up. Like, because this is like it's shambolic for Leicester. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
No, I agree.
like I think it's shambolic for Leicester. They won the Prem not too long ago.
Wait, how many times have
So
they been relegated since they won that? Is this the second time or
I think this is the second time.
second
yeah.
time? Yeah.
You see
So
what Vardy's been saying?
yep.
He's leaving, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't. I saw his like his Instagram post and whatnot. Like he was not a happy camper.
As
Because
in it
Rightfully
wasn't his
so.
choice to leave?
He's basically just saying like this is unacceptable. It's been a shit season. Like the fans don't deserve this and all that. Like he's just speaking. What I like about Vardy is he speaks like almost like from a fan's perspective. You know, like he doesn't hold back. Like it's
Mm,
refreshing to hear players just come out and tell the truth instead of having like that PR nonsense responses on social media. Like we'll
Mhm.
do better next time, and like no, like he straight up said this has been a shit season. It's unacceptable.
mm,
And he just called it out for what it was. Like no beating around the bush. It was this is shit. It's unacceptable. Like this is not the standard. He said this on his social media. So yeah,
That's why people respect him. He's a true player. Like he understands. And when you watch the Leicester games, I forgot what game. I think it was the Chelsea game against Leicester that I watched a few weeks back. But there was just no fight. There was just no fight. Like Connor Cody's trying to like rally the troops, and like I understand you're getting relegated, but like it's the same thing with Arsenal that we talked about last week. I understand that Liverpool won the Prem, but don't don't let the year finish on a sour note. Go out, finish the last couple games on a high, right? Same thing with Leicester. Like if you're gonna go out swinging. I just don't think they're doing that. Manchester United, they get a late. I don't know how they keep doing this, man. I don't know if it's like Fergie time all of a sudden coming to haunt all the teams that they're facing, but Rasmus Højlund, I think it was like what in the 93rd minute or something, came back um, to to tie 1-1. I would say it's a poor result for Bournemouth because they had that game under control. I was able to watch the game. They had that game under control, and yeah, United just. I mean, it's a good result for United because they're going to go into their fixture for Europa League on a high. Um, but man, Bournemouth just fucking they were
And
battling top
they were down a
five.
man, no?
I don't think so. No,
Yeah, there
yeah,
was
they
I
were.
I'm pretty sure there's a red
really?
card. Yeah, I think Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth got a
Yeah.
red card in the first half.
Oh, they upgraded to a red card. Oh, Evan,
Yeah.
no,
Didn't
second
you,
half,
didn't you
second
say you
half.
watched the game,
No,
fam?
second half, second. No, no, no. I watched majority of it, but second half. It wasn't first half. That's why I missed it. Evan Nielsen got a straight red in second. It was like
What
there
apple
was
juice
no
were
red
you
card in the
drinking?
first. Bro, there was no red card in the first half.
No, but they got a
The
red
hell?
card.
Yeah, but you both said first half. It was in the 70th minute.
I never said first half. I just
Yeah,
said
but
they
you
were
didn't
down.
even know they got a red.
Of course not, because I watched the first half.
Oh, okay, that was a good save. But no, all jokes aside, in the end, that's why I think a draw is a good result for them because considering they're down to 10 men for a good part of that game. Like when I saw that, I thought for sure United was going to come back and win, but they held on like right until the last. So it's not horrible under that circumstance.
Bro, 20
Um,
minutes though at the Vitality. I think that's a terrible result. You're at home, 70th minute, you get a red card.
it's a
You
lot
just
of
play the
time
little
left.
block. It
It's a
is,
lot
but
of
you're
time
at
left in the
home.
game.
You're at home, man.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters, man. You're playing Man United. Like I don't know. At that point, they're going to go for it. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's not horrible. That's still a lot of time in football. 20 minutes plus, as we know, it's a lot of time in football. You probably still have like a close to half an hour left to play. We already know momentum swings and whatnot in football as well. Like that definitely. Without watching the game, I can definitely tell it must have been like an onslaught. They probably tried to sit deep, um, but United definitely caught life with that one. Like that result, I mean, just shit doesn't change much for them in terms of their standing. Um, Obviously, their hopes are in the Europa League, but yeah, I mean, better than another loss because they're sitting on what? Like United is now sitting on how many losses in the Prem? Like this is
15.
unbelievable. That's unheard of for a club of United standard. Like we talk about, turmoil at Arsenal and Chelsea and that, but from a United perspective, like if they do not win the Europa League, this control all delete like factory reset that club. Like that's a disgrace from a club of United size. Imagine if Arsenal's having that kind of season. Like, how would we be as fans? We'd be livid as fans. We'd be like, there'd be riots. Like, it'd be all types going on. 14th in the league,
They have
15 losses.
sixth lowest wins. They're just barely in double digits. They have down 10 wins. Like
It's
shambolic.
shambles, man.
Shambolic. Just quickly, I don't want to really, for obvious reasons, I really don't want to spend too much time on this. Liverpool 5-1. Spurs getting your booty clapped. Like, if anyone listening to this is a Spurs fan, you need to give your head a good shaking because there's clearly something wrong with you. Um, Solanke opened it up, but after that, it was just an onslaught. They like it was almost like Liverpool's like, okay, let's just give you the first one because we know you're Spurs. You need the assistance, and then it was just like bang, 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 bang. Like there was no stopping them. It was literally an onslaught. But anyways, that's all. I'm not going to give you a moment to talk about this, Laurent. Nope, not going to even give it to you. Don't even say anything.
I
Don't,
was not
don't,
even looking to talk about it,
don't.
but okay.
No, no, you're talking about it. Nope, not gonna. Nope, nope. But what you can talk about is how unlucky Nottingham Forest were against City. Three posts. Morgan Gibbs right. He had an empty net, hit the post. He had a banger from the top of the box, hit the post. And Yates also hit the post on a header. Like, damn, that's pretty heartbreaking for Forest.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it is what it is. You have those games, but I think that chance where you said the open net, that was unacceptable, man. That ball should have been
Mm-hmm.
in the back of the net. Who knows what difference it would have made, but because there was already 2-0 at that point.
Yeah, but that was at the 70th minute or 75th minute. So if he would have scored,
That's true. That's true. Definitely, yeah, it could have changed the dynamics the game for sure. But yeah, other than that, I mean, they didn't even register a single shot on target in the first half, right? Nottingham Forest, City was pretty much right back to business in terms of how they played it from the beginning, right? To the end of the game. Yeah, I think City deserved it, right? You do say it's unlucky, but I feel like at some point, man, like you just you you got to put that ball like in the net.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you gotta put
Yeah,
it
yeah.
gotta put it
Hmm.
away. Especially that empty netter. Like the shot from the top of the box, like okay, fair. You know what?
Mm,
Whatever. That's unlucky. But the empty net, there's no excuse.
mm.
The offensive work rate for you to
Yeah.
even get to the ball, put that pressure on the defense, you just gotta
Mm,
put it away.
mm. And mind you, actually, Alenga, bro, that guy missed the wide open
Yes. Yes. I was
and
actually gonna say that next.
yeah, and that was it was 0-0, I believe, at that point, if I
Yep.
remember correctly, right? That right there, I think was the deciding factor for that game, if anything.
Hmm.
I feel like he should have hit it with his left. He tried to, right?
Yeah, he tried to chip it.
Yeah, well, yeah, with the right foot and at that angle too, like I think the left foot would have opened it up because you had the other side of the net to kind of like aim
Yeah.
for. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah. Pep's trying to save his season, at least come out, walk out with a trophy, sitting on 61 points. I want to go out on a limb and say I think they're 100% going to get Champions League spot. I don't think Pep's going to let that slide.
Oh, for sure.
Um, so it's for them it's get this trophy and call it a successful season for them, but not to their standards for the last 4 or 5 years, winning everything possible. But with everything that they've gone through, I think it would be success. There's only one
Did
man.
we?
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, did we? Do you guys remember your predictions for the FA Cup? Who I think we all chose a team that we predict to win it in the end.
I said Palace.
You said Palace. Did you?
Yeah, do you really want me to go back and fact check this?
Yeah, we can do it offline if needs be. I don't know how quick you are with the maths.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
this
gonna say
man.
yeah.
Laurent, who did you?
I don't even remember at
Who?
this point.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're,
But
we're
do you
gonna have to.
remember us like selecting a team? Each of us
Yeah,
selected a team who we
yeah,
thought.
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember that, but I don't
I
remember.
said City. I feel like you said Villa, Laurent. I could be wrong.
Wait, which episode? Like, honestly, yeah,
This
It's
is
okay.
this is the
We'll
few.
take it offline and
Yeah, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
post it.
We'll
But
let y'all know.
yeah, I remember saying Palace, and you guys both laughed at me because we all had three different
Answers. Hmm.
predictions. But on Palace, there's only one man that I want to say, and I called him out last pod. Eberici Eze.
Mm.
He needs to be on Arsenal's targets. I don't give a fuck who else we're going for. Eberici Eze needs to be on the list. Did you guys see the goal?
I
yeah,
actually missed it.
yeah. It was nice. It was nice.
You didn't rate it,
Yo,
Laurent?
Laurent, don't do this.
It was
What don't
what,
you like
bro?
about the goal? What don't you like about the goal?
Did I say I didn't like? I said it was nice. Oh, sorry, I'm not a. It was a good goal. You think it was better than the one he scored when he was at the edge of the box against Arsenal?
Yes,
Hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that.
because as much as I love David
Actually,
Raya,
you know what? That
Emiliano.
celebration was cold. That okay? You know what? Yeah, the goal and then the celebration after that. That to me was yeah, yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, that whole sequence was like, whew. He was the man that night. Like But although I think Ismail Sarr
He needs a
deserves
huge, yeah.
deserves more credit than Eze that game because boy did that guy come in clutch, man. Those two goals, oof. And that
All three goals were him. It was because
oh
of
yeah,
his
yes,
work
he
rate.
assisted. Yes, you're right. Yeah, he
Yeah.
assisted on the first one to Eze, and then the other two. But that last one, that third one, man, did you see the acceleration? I watched that clip like 3 times, bro. Like, because I'm
Hmm.
just factoring in where the players are. But boy, that guy was like he was sprinting, bro, to get to that ball and like dusted everyone, man. Now I'm thinking like if it was like Saliba, like in the back, do you think like who do you think gets that? Because
Ismail
that guy,
Sarr.
yeah, he was coming in hot, man.
He wanted to, yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
wanted to go for it.
yeah.
But yeah, Palace facing City in the finals.
Let's
Um,
go.
who do you fellas What do you fellas think?
Yeah, I'm going for Palace underdog, like straight up. Like I don't want to see City touch this trophy, especially if City win after like the season they've had. It's like another success. And I know you guys would be pretty cheese, man.
Mhm.
I
Right?
said City would win. That was my prediction from I think before the semi started, right when the three of us did our predictions a while back. So I got to stick with City. I think they'll win, especially now that, with all due respect, especially now that it's Palace. Yeah, again, like City's experience over Palace. Palace will just be, of course, they're going to want to win, but they'll be ecstatic to even be in the position, you know. So they go in as massive underdogs. For some reason, I feel like, I mean, obviously, Crystal Palace proved me wrong. I would have said like Palace, sorry, not Palace, Forest. Forest proved me wrong. But I would have said at the beginning that like Forest and even Villa would have troubled City more. But you know, obviously the way City dealt with Forest today proved me otherwise. But even Villa, I thought Villa might have been a tough matchup for a City. Um, but yeah, no, Palace. Obviously, this is David versus Goliath territory right now. Like this is City been there, done that. How many times now versus Palace? Again, this would be the first time even in this position. So
Yeah.
we're rooting for the underdog. I think all of us, but yeah, man, City. I think City's got this. Maybe we
Well,
do a watch along for that one at
yeah,
your place. That
yeah,
FA Cup final watch along. That'll be
yeah. It'd be
pretty
dope.
pretty nice.
Be dope. Um, just quickly before we move on, Oliver Glasner, unreal job with Palace this year. You gotta give it to him. In the league, maybe they're not doing the greatest. They're sitting on 45, 12th place. But to be in a final, in the cup final, this is huge for Palace. Like huge. So shout out Oliver Glasner. I'll let you guys take this game. We had our predictions. Copa del Rey final. Finished
Mm.
3-2 Barcelona. CJ and I were hoping it would go to PKs, and we both would have got a point in our predictions board, and just kind of left Lauren in the dust. But man, you two take this. What did you guys take away from this game?
Whew.
I know what CJ took away from this game.
What did CJ take away from the game? Tell us.
Now Real Madrid are like sore losers, bro. Yeah.
Yo,
Is that is
yeah,
that
bro. They're no man. Their antics kill me, bro. From Vinny to Jude to Rudiger. Like, bro, how do you get three men sent off at the end of the game? Like, bro, calm down, bro. Relax. Like, keep your heads. Just shambles, fam. Like, they don't know how to lose with grace. And like I said, I think they started rubbing me the wrong way when. I mean, shit. I can go back as far as the Ballon d'Or to say that they rubbed me the wrong way with the way they didn't turn up for it just because Vinny didn't win. Um, and then honestly, like I said, all that remontada stuff with Arsenal in the second leg, they just look like idiots in the end because, like I said, they've built that up as if it was like some Netflix series show that we were waiting for. You know, the next season, all the remontada this, remontada that. Like the way they built that up, I didn't really like that too much. You know, it's like, bro, do your talking on the pitch, which is exactly what Arteta said in his presser before that one. Like, do your talking on the pitch, shut up. There's only so much you can and should talk. I understand you're big bad Real Madrid, whatever, but even they milked it. You know, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Divas, drama queens. And then obviously in the build up to this game, I don't know if you guys heard about the shenanigans with the referee
Yep.
um, pre-game. It's like, geez, man, like you guys always need to
Yeah.
be in the spotlight for one way or another, you know?
When you
Um,
have a kid,
so yeah,
like the referee's kid being abused, like listen, don't get me wrong. We've given shit to Mike Oliver. We've given shit to referees. However, I don't. I would go on a limb and say none of us would condone that type of behavior, that type of abuse, especially to like a kid. Like what did the kid do, man? And and
wait, what
to
happened to the
like
kid? I don't get it. Like,
the referee before the final, he came out on the press conference and he was bawling, and he said, my kid comes home from school and he's like crying, saying, "Dad, these kids are calling me this and calling you a cheat, and they're calling me a cheat, and they're bullying me, stuff like that." Like,
oh, so this is like other kids at his school that are doing it.
yeah, because of what
Oh,
Madrid's saying. Like, Madrid just classless. Honestly, I did not expect this from such a big um, entity. I don't know. It,
yeah,
it was terrible.
honestly, yeah, for me, as I was watching that game, every time I see what's his name, Mr. Eyebrows always raised, Ancelotti there.
Ancelotti.
Yeah, every time I see him reaching for a Mentos and he's going like, just like downing down a pack of Mentos, that's when I know shit's like hitting the fan, bro. Because at that point, like, he's losing his cool. He tries to pretend like he's always calm on the sidelines. You guys notice that? Like, one hand in the pocket, right? Like just, watching like his team, right? But then, and then no, honestly, like the commentators always pointed out, typical Ancelotti, right? You never know what he's thinking, right? Always so poised, one eyebrow raised. But even this game, like you can tell, like, yo, this guy, everything was just crashing down. Like I don't know if it was like just the whole season, and then even when his players like were, just rallying up, you got Rudiger being held back, like like his eyes. You guys see that? Like his eyes like bulging out of
Hmm.
his head. He's like trying to like kill the ref or whatever. And then Ancelotti's just there, like clueless, like doesn't know what to do, like or right, like how to get his team in order,
Calm
right?
down.
Yeah, usually you'll see managers maybe walking to their right, like try to even holding their players back, kind of thing, right? But this guy's just there, bro. Abra is just like,
Well,
like
because he's done. He's done. After this game, he's done. They already said that he's parting ways. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
yeah, I guess, but I mean, like, I feel like, yo, you're the manager at the end of the day, right?
Mm.
Yeah, but other than that, I think tactically the game, um, Real Madrid started off slow for me. Again, you see Barca pressing these guys every time they get the sniff of the ball. There's two guys on Barca hunting down one guy on Real Madrid, right? Which is how they were winning the ball. And I like how many times have I said this, right? Like to me, football is you have to press. You're right. You
Hmm.
you 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 have to press. Um, and like I don't understand. They started pressing towards closer to half, and then the second half, which is why possession was starting to even out a bit more. Right. You're forcing now Barcelona to make errors and whatnot. But yeah, no, they came back. A free kick from Mbappe, the clinical free kick. I was surprised, to be honest, that he even like hit the target, or yeah,
Mm.
like that he scored. No, seriously, man. I'm thinking like, nothing much was going to come out of it, but no, he ended up scoring. And then Chouameni, right, with the header. Yeah, at that point, like 2-2, it was anyone's game, especially in extra time. But I feel like again, Real Madrid just let the foot off the gas at some point. I don't know if you guys noticed. And yeah.
Well, yeah, bro. When you, oh, sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, go on, go on.
I was gonna say, like, at that point, that Real Madrid, they'd be kicking themselves because at that point that they took the lead, right? Like they
Right,
equalized through Mbappe's free kick, and then they took the lead, and
right.
then it's almost like you blink, and then boom, like they're back level. Like defensively, they were all over the place in this game. Like Rudiger did not have a good game at all.
Mm,
He let Ferran Torres run off of him for when they conceded the second goal to tie it at
mm,
2-2.
right.
Um, and it was just a poor defensive display. We have to talk about their first goal, Barcelona's in the first half that put them up 1-0. Pedri's goal was class. I think Pedri's a baller. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the world right now. That goal was top class, and he's someone I would be fearful of if, again, just from an Arsenal watch op along perspective, like, we get to a final, we play a Barcelona, like midfield battle again would be key in that one because yeah, they've got some ballers in midfield and Pedri, the likes of De Jong and Gavi and those guys, right? Danny Elmo. But yeah, no, I like the way Barca play, man. They look like a serious side, serious team. They play good football. They got obviously Lamine Yamal and Rafinha on the other side, and their fullbacks are strong. Kunde, I like Jules Kunde. He scored the winner. Horrible giveaway in the middle of the field for Real Madrid, but Kunde pops up with the winner, and he's the one that the unlikely goal scorer. And that's it looks like it's going everything's going their way this season for Barca. When Jules Kunde pops up for the winner in the extra time, it's like wow, like this could be Barca season. From an Arsenal perspective, hopefully not, but at this moment in time, Barca looks like they're on for a treble.
And apparently, Arsenal are monitoring his contractual
I saw that.
situation to not
Another
go
fucking
income.
defender.
Mm,
Jeez, man.
and don't
Like,
kill me. Another
Fuck.
defender, eh?
Yeah.
fuck's sakes.
Yeah. So Rudiger, apparently he's, I was reading up on it before we were recording. Apparently he's potentially in line for a 12 game match ban for throwing the object. And apparently Lucas Vasquez also maybe 5 games for his violent conduct. Bellingham may get a couple games as well. Um, But yeah, it was just shame. Honestly, it's just classless from such a big team that's won everything. And if you think about it, like the types of players that have been there, I love Ronaldo, both Ronaldos, Beckham, Zidane, Casillas. I'm not gonna say Ramos because he was a fucking hothead, but like Varane, Roberto Carlos, like the names that have worn that jersey, and the way that these players are, like, to me, it's disrespecting the jersey and the badge when you act like this. And it also, I mean, I do have to say, Florentino Perez, he has a huge part in it because he's the one who, from the top down, he essentially gave them the open license to act like this, with his comments about the referee. But man, it's just classless from such a big organization. I don't really know what else to say. Um, well, well. Tuesday, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The Arsenal, the Gunners take on PSG in a huge semifinal. Apparently, we're getting a big tifo, what's it called? A cannon tifo that's going to be kind of hanging. They're going all out for this, which as they rightfully should. Hopefully, it's going to be a crazy atmosphere, and I do believe it will be. A couple key things before CJ takes it over with his breakdown. Um, Again, first appearance since 2009. PSG still hasn't won Champions League. Um, I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe you've ever lost to PSG. Um, but I don't really want to bank on that. Couple key players for both teams. Thomas Partey suspension obviously out. Jesus, Jorginho, Havertz, Tomiyasu obviously out. Ben White and Mikel Merino, I do believe they're both going to be fit. Merino was more of a fitness thing, that they kept him out of the last game, obviously because of Partey being injured as well. They didn't want to, sorry, being out. They didn't want to risk him. And PSG have nothing. PSG are good to go. They don't have anything. Head-to-head record, Arsenal 2-0. They beat them 2-0 earlier. And again, I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've ever lost to PSG. Yeah, CJ, let your coaching skills take away. You tell us, what do you have for the breakdown of this game?
Hmm. Well, this one's tough, man, because I keep saying fucking Partey put us in a really bad spot. Like, he's going to be such a big loss in a game where midfield is key. We dominated them physically in the first time we played them earlier this year in the group stages. They have really good midfield, but again, physically, athletically, we dominated them. Made it difficult for them to get on the ball and play their football, and that was obviously with Partey in there, who had a really good game that game. Um, so I mean, without him, we have just as good of a capable number six in Declan Rice. So, but the problem is, it's the moving parts, right? You take Partey out, you put Rice there again, no problem because he's just as good of a player, but in a different kind of way. Um, because Declan Rice doesn't progress the ball as much, but he does get around the pitch better than Partey. But again, comparable. You take out one world class number six and you put another world class number six in there, and that's not a problem. The problem is, what do we do at that left eight position, right?
Well,
Um, I've battled with this one so many times, and what I would do and what I would want to do. I remember at first, that last game immediately after the Real Madrid second leg, one of the theories that you had was to put Skelly in midfield, and I think at that time I said no way, like we shouldn't do that. But over time, I thought that actually would not be a bad option at all, just based on personnel. Like if we want something similar in terms of like for like personnel, that's not a bad option. I wouldn't do the Zinchenko in midfield one because Zinchenko is too light on the ball. I just talked about how us needing to dominate them physically, and whilst Zinchenko is good on the ball, he's not very physical. So I wouldn't do that. Um, I think overall, and I think this is what Arteta's going to do. And I think we saw it in the Ipswich game. He lined up, I think, the way that we're probably going to play against PSG on Tuesday, which is same back four that we've usually gone with, with Timber, Saliba, and Kivior. Left back, Lewis Skelly. Midfield was Rice at 6, Mikel Merino, number 8. And then obviously Odegaard, the right 8 or the number 10. And then a front three of Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, and Trossard, number 9 or false 9. So I think that's how Arteta is going to line up. And I guess at the end of the day, I think that's what I would do too with our limited options. A couple of things, what people were saying, in order to get a Lewis Skelly in midfield, you can put a Tierney at left back. But again, that doesn't, in terms of the way we play, that wouldn't help us because we use the overloads in midfield. Tierney is an out-and-out traditional fullback, so he's not going to give us that extra overload in midfield because he doesn't invert the same way as a Skelly or even a Zinchenko. So that's probably not a feasible option. And then another option people were talking about to get Skelly in midfield is, again, a Ben White at right back and put Timber at left back. But then I think you're changing around your back four too much to do that. They say, obviously, with the whole phrase of defense wins championships and all that, you want a stable defense. And the defense that we've relied on to get us up to this point thus far is Timber at right back, Skelly left back, and then Saliba. And obviously it was Gabriel previously and now Kivior who stepped in and done just as good of a job, to be honest. So I don't think you really, in the end of the day, you don't want to play with your back four too much. I think you got to keep the back four the way it is. That's the conclusion I think I've come to. I wouldn't mess around with Skelly midfield and Ben White right back and Timber left back. I think stability is the most important thing. Again, you want to build from the back, and with defense winning championships and all that, like I think you can get away with that in tournament football. You have to be defensively sound. You have to be defensively strong first. So I think we have a steady goalkeeper already. You keep your back four the same. Again, from a defensive perspective, Rice going in for Partey is just as good, if not better, defensively. So that's our defensive structure is fine, is solid there. It's just a matter of now, do we have enough now going forward? And obviously, the other big fear is Trossard. I don't know if you share the same concerns, Merdad, or even you, Laurent, from what you've seen of Trossard. Trossard is not as selfless of a player as Merino in the 9. When Merino's playing in the number 9 position, his work rate for the team, his hold-up play, his link-up play, like we saw Merino with 2 fantastic assists in the Bernabeu, right, for Saka's goal and for Martinelli's goal. Both perfectly weighted passes. A number 9 or a false 9 like Merino gets our wingers involved, and he links the play. He gets Martinelli involved on the left. He gets Saka involved on the right. We saw him combine with Declan Rice and Odegaard plenty of times at the Bernabeu in midfield. Like he just links everything together. He does that just as good, if not better than Havertz even. Like Marino has done a really good job at 9. So the problem is with moving these pieces around, you're affecting a couple positions, right? You're affecting Declan Rice's position when you move him from 8 to 6. You're affecting Marino when you move him from number 9 to back into midfield at number 8. So it's a couple of things that really shift this whole thing around, which is why I say Partey really screwed us, because we're shifting a couple of things around at this moment in time. I would have loved to kept Marino in the 9 because he's been doing a really good job there. Like I said, it's not just the goals, but it's the way he brings others into play. Trossard, for me, he's not a back to goal striker, so he doesn't have that hold up play. He's tiny, Trossard. He doesn't want it back to goal. He wants it in the box. Where he's one of our best finishers. Don't get me wrong, Trossard. He's a really good finisher when he's in the box. But again, our patterns of play, our link up is not going to look the same with Trossard up there. I fear that we might concede a little bit of possession for that reason because he doesn't. Trossard loses. How many times, Merdad, you see me freaking throw something across the room or slap the table because Trossard he frustrates me so much and he carelessly loses the ball. Does he not? Like sometimes he'll just be dribbling with it. He'll do something stupid and he doesn't take care of the ball as well as I think he should.
No.
If you go back to what do you call it? Remember the game against Bournemouth where Saliba got sent off? Whose back pass was that got Saliba in trouble? It's Trossard. Like he'll do those stupid things sometimes where he just doesn't take care of the ball, and it really pisses me off. Because if we ever get caught in possession where Trossard loses the ball in a midfield area in a really key position, and we lose the ball and they break on us with the midfield quality that they have and the forward line that they have, we cannot afford for anybody. Yes, we cannot afford for anybody to be careless on the ball. Like I want guys to be comfortable in possession. I want guys who are going to be tidy in possession. And if Trossard gets the ball at any point in this game in a dangerous position, I'm going to be panicking because I know what he has these brain farts sometimes. He's a really good player on his day, but again, you better make sure you're on your day on Tuesday because it's going to be unforgiving.
I think the
That's my only
only
fear. Yeah.
sorry, CJ. I think the only, and I agree with you like 1000%. Just playing devil's advocate and being an optimist. I think him going into this game, he's in such good form and confidence that I think is going to bode well because when he has those runs, and I believe we all talked about it last pod when he had those 4 or 5 games where he's on hot form, he doesn't make those boneheaded plays as much, right? He actually tries to get involved. He drops deep. He has that interplay with Martinelli. He actually his work rate goes up, and I think he has a point to prove because a part of me just seeing his celebrations, the way that he's just, I think he feels a little disrespected having picked over him since the
Mhm.
Havertz injury. And I do genuinely feel like I think Trossard has something to prove. But it doesn't mean that I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. I do agree with everything that you're saying. Um, So we'll see. I think the one thing that's going to work in Trossard's favor is that PSG's back four aren't necessarily big. Like when you look at the Premier League back fours, like the center backs are typically bigger in height and physicality, and their back four they aren't dominant. Like there aren't big bodies. Like you got Marquinhos.
But they're physical though. Like they're not big, but
No,
they're
Yeah, they
physical.
are. Yeah, they are
but
physical.
but when you compare it to like a Premier League physicality, I wouldn't compare it. In my opinion, it's not that physical because the Premier League is the most physical league. Like when you got Konate, Virgil van Dijk, or you got I don't know, like a Connor Cody or a Tarkovsky coming at you versus Marquinhos. Like
Mm.
I'm
I don't know.
not
I don't
denying
think we
that
should
that's
sleep on it. I don't think we should sleep on that, to be honest with you. Like I'm still concerned about um again, Trossard, yes, like you're right about the Premier League factor and that being more physical. Um, but again, we're talking about here like competent defenders here, like Marquinhos. He's a really accomplished center back. Starts for Brazil's national team. Like we're not talking about a scrub here. And Hato, I think his name is Hato, plays alongside him.
Pacho.
Pacho, sorry. Yeah, he's had a really brilliant season as well. And I think actually as well, Trossard may not be in these areas as much, but their fullbacks, Hakimi and Mendes at the moment, like those are two of the best fullbacks around. And I guess this
Hmm.
this conversation specifically for our wingers, and we're talking about matchups making a difference in this game. Hakimi versus Martinelli, Mendes versus Saka, those are going to be some key battles. You know,
Uh-huh.
we've already seen Mendes wrap up Salah, and I think Hakimi is one of the best right backs in the world at the moment. But he's better definitely going forward than he is defending. So we got to hope that Martinelli can push him back a little bit so that he doesn't neglect his defensive duties,
Same thing with
getting caught too high
Trossard,
up the
man.
pitch.
Like I think
Yeah.
Trossard and Martinelli, like I think, obviously Saka Mendes is going to be a huge battle on that right side or left side respectively, but I do think Martinelli and Trossard need to expose Hakimi and to get him to be like more focused on his defensive side of the ball rather than the offense. Because if they don't put pressure on Hakimi and Hakimi starts bombing forward, they're gonna get that massive overload with Dembele dropping in at the middle and then
Mhm.
Cavasquelia and Due or Barcola off the left, and then that's gonna be a completely different issue. So I do think that that's where Trossard maybe be able to get a little bit of daylight. Although Hakimi is faster than him, there's no question about that. But I think if he can get that good interplay with um, what's it called? If he can get that good interplay with Martinelli, or even if Mikel Merino steps up and takes that void that he leaves in that center forward position, I do think that's an opportunity for us to exploit. But again, Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, like it's gonna be tough.
And this is why I worry about Trossard, because like I said, I know you said that he can drop deep as well, but the problem with him dropping deep as well is that when he gets the ball and he does drops deep, I'm afraid of the mistakes that he can make in those positions because he'll drop deep in
Mm,
dangerous areas and carelessly give the ball away in the middle of midfield. I've seen him do it time and time again, and it's almost like
yeah.
I don't want you anywhere near. those dangerous positions in our defensive third. Whereas Marino, again, like last game in the Bernabeu, we saw Marino, how deep he dropped for the Martinelli goal. He was back defending on the edge of our 18, received the ball, brought it down well, and then picked out that pass to send Martinelli through it on goal. That was in our half. So with those things with Trossard, it's like the positions that he takes up, I'd rather see him in the box as opposed to, dropping too deep and getting caught on the ball, potentially either getting clattered from behind because he's not physical enough, or sloppy pass in the middle of midfield because you weren't taking care of the ball well, and then they counter on us. Like, those are the things that I'm really looking for him, and that I'm going to be mindful of. That's one thing that does really worry me. I think you brought up a good point about being on form and that accounting for something. I really wanted to talk about that for a couple of minutes, because you're absolutely right. Like, he's a player that give him, as they say in a basketball term, give him the rock. Because if he's got a hot hand, give him the ball. Give him the ball. He scored how many in the last few games? I think he's got like 3 or 4 in the last. He scored against Everton, scored against Ipswich, scored against Palace. So yeah, man, like he's scoring. Obviously, the difference is this is a whole new kettle of fish in the Champions League semifinal, right? Those teams in the Premier League, with all due respect to them, like, they're lower tier caliber sides, as the table shows. So you got to do it now in the Champions League, and he's done it in the Champions League for us before. Like, he scored some clutch goals. I just hope that he continues to have the hot hand, as they say, and can be clinical enough to put the ball in the back of the net for us when it counts in this game. His attitude is one thing as well, like that you mentioned, that bothers me a little bit. He does have this sense of entitlement attitude where, he'll catch feelings, or he'll show that he's a little bit salty when the manager drops him out of the starting line, or you've seen it in his goal celebrations where when he scored, he kind of has like a mute celebration as to say, well, should have started me anyways. Like, I should be in the starting lineup. It's like, dude, like, because, and here's my problem with that is that he's had multiple chances this season to show himself. Like, look how many of our forwards have been injured, and he has not stepped up. He's had a poor season for his standards. So if you have that kind of that swagger and that audacity about you, kind of the way like Laurent was talking about Saka doing a Panenka at the Bernabeu, like, if you're going to be that guy, if you're going to have that attitude, you better deliver it, Trossard, because don't have that attitude and you're stinking the bed 90% of this season. You know what I mean? If you're going to have that attitude and you're going to give the manager a hard time, and if you're going to kind of cause a stir, not to say that he is causing a stir in the dressing room, but if he's going to, kind of cause that rift by being salty and being miserable and kind of moping around the place, you better show it on the pitch. And you've had more than enough chances this season to show it, and you did not step up in the absence of Saka.
34 games, 8 goals, 5 assists. Last year, 34 games, 12 goals, 1 assist. So goals and assist wise, he is doing better than last year, just barely. I think
it's the eye test too, though.
It's the same thing, but yeah, you literally stole it. I think he was playing better last year. Champions League, 12 matches, 2 goals, 2 assists. Last year, 9 matches, 4 goals, 1 assist. I do think he's gonna have a huge part to play in both legs. Because I just feel like Trossard, these type of games, he gets up for. And
he's looking better.
I think he's gonna turn some heads. But a lot of the things that you say, I totally agree with you. I do have those concerns as well. The one area for me, the big area, and I know you touched on it, is we need to keep Vitinha under control. The way that he ticks that midfield, we need to keep him under control. Whether it's Odegaard man marking him, whether it's Declan Rice, even Mikel Merino, I don't care who it is. We need to put pressure on him and make him realize that every time you touch the ball, there's going to be someone right behind you, and someone's going to hit you. You know what I mean? Someone's going to be there to put that pressure on you. I obviously don't want any like silly yellow cards or red cards or whatnot, but I do want him to feel the pressure, because I don't think maybe Liverpool did it in the second leg at Anfield, because obviously Anfield having that that crowd behind you, but I want him to feel that pressure, because that pressure is only going to increase when Thomas Partey comes back for the second leg, right? And I want him to know, like, if we're doing this without Partey, when the second leg comes and we're at Parc des Princes, it's going to be way worse. I want him to, because he's small. Like, he's a baller, but he's small. He's like a Lucas Torreira, right? obviously way better. But I want him to feel the pressure and I want him to feel that physicality. Because as much as Liverpool have that physicality in the midfield, they're not compared to Arsenal. The physicality that we have and the size of Marino, Rice, Partey. The lightest one there is Odegaard, but Odegaard's bigger than Vitinho. So I want him to feel that pressure. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but that's
Yeah,
one I'm looking
for
at.
sure. Like Rice has got to be that guy to Rice is gonna have to have another sort of man of the match sort of type performances. Like we're gonna have to lean on him to step up again, and then run the midfield for us in both legs. Like he's got to stand out for us. He's got to crunch Bettina, as you say. Put your foot in there, let him know that he's in a game. Throw him off a little bit. Like again, we
Yeah,
can't give these guys time and space, or they'll destroy us. So Rice has got to be on it, man. He's got to be, and Rice sometimes, his work rate. He does the work rate for two players almost sometimes. Like he's all over the pitch. So yeah, no, I think Rice has got to step up in that and run that midfield again the same way he did against Madrid.
Wait,
LeBron,
is
we
there?
haven't heard. Oh,
I was
sorry.
gonna I was gonna ask, is there a player that you guys worry about in terms of disciplinary issues throughout the first game, let's say, on your side?
Disciplinary. That's a good question.
Yeah, like, just a wild card, someone that can pick up one, two yellows or even harsh tackle, and suddenly, right,
No,
you're down a man. No?
you're asking
Uh,
me. No, I don't know if
yeah.
CJ has any other thoughts.
Well, if I had to pick one just to answer the question, I would have said I would have said like a Lewis Skelly maybe, but again, he showed his maturity levels in the Real Madrid game, the two
Mm,
games against Real Madrid. So, obviously we've seen Lewis Skelly a couple times this season where he's shown his age a little bit with a couple silly fouls or red cards or conceding stupid things. Again, he's still only 18 years old, so maybe that would have been somebody that I might have said, but he showed against Real Madrid his maturity, man. And I think, again, I pray, knock on wood and all that. I hope he continues in the same vein this time around. He's got some experienced heads around him to help guide him through. But I don't think I would say that I specifically worry about one player kind of on the disciplinary tightrope.
okay, okay.
Laurent, I was gonna ask. We haven't heard your take of this game. What's your take? What matchups are you looking for? Um, as an outsider looking in, obviously.
To me, man, I'm excited for the wingers, and then yeah, your two defenders there, Skelly, and then who Timber, is he
Timber.
going to be the one that's
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
okay? Timber is on the right side, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Skelly on the left. Yeah, so if Timber is on the right, that means he's probably up against
Cavaskillia.
yes, Barcola and even potentially Dewey. I think
They
sometimes
rotate a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
do.
all rotate. It's interchangeable, so he's going to be
Right.
against all of them. The only one that doesn't really come off the left as
Dembele?
much is Dembele. Dembele is going
Uh-huh.
to be more skelly, but
Mm,
Cavaskillia, Due, they
mm.
interchange a lot.
Okay, okay. No, but I think for me, I almost feel like the game could be decided in those areas, man. With the
Mm-hmm.
wingers, in my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the worrying thing for me is I know you guys mentioned your guys Trossard and Martinelli looking to give Hakimi, right, a bit more defensive work to do. I honestly want to say that I don't think Hakimi is going to be phased. One, I think it's more so the playing style of Martinelli. Martinelli has more pace than Trossard. However, I believe Hakimi outpaces Martinelli. Um,
Hmm.
and in terms of like just the way Martinelli usually beats defenders, I can't see
Mm-hmm.
Hakimi being outplayed like that, right? To get past a guy like Hakimi, you gotta be like it's trickery. It's trickery and you're quick, almost like a Doku, like wingers like that, right? And I don't know if Martinelli has just the toolbox to be able to deploy that, right? Now I think Trossard, funny enough, depending on how he plays the game, might have a better luck, right? Because Trossard is almost like what's the other guy's name on PSG that you mentioned? He came from Napoli. Um,
Cavaskillia?
Yeah, that guy. Trossard almost has like a similar playing style where he can turn in and out of the defender, right? And even if the guy is slower than you, that can cause you problems, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no. And then you got Saka on the other side. Um, that'd be interesting. Honestly, in terms of Mendes and Saka, I don't even know where that's gonna go. Because I thought Salah would be able to take care of that, right? But we seen what happened there. Now, mind you, I think to Salah's defense, it was more so him not showing up than actually, going out there and then the guy just having a better night than him. So if Saka comes to play, man, it will make it could even balance out. Like you'll have games where he beats you twice and then you come back,
Hmm.
right?
Mm.
And you block him out. Yeah, I think we can see a bit of an even sided game there on that side of the pitch. And then yeah, middle Dembele, depending, right? He might play as a nine there. Uh, personally, I yes, he has. I think he's leading the stats in the league.
Mhm.
But the Dembele as a finisher, I don't know, man. And I know historically, you guys do know he's known for bottling chances that he should be putting in the back of the net,
Hmm.
right?
Mhm.
But this season
So
he's snapping though.
yes, but funny enough, and I think even the last game they had when they lost 3-1, yeah, I think he did
Yeah.
miss a few key chances. But all in all, I can see him having a game where it can come. He had the chance and he just, it's typical Dembele, right? So you never know with that guy, right? And then on your end, depending on who, right? Even if you have Mourinho there, you guys talked about the link-up play, which I think is a key point, a very key point because all in all, for one, I feel like even if you're a good striker, right? Let's say you bag all the goals for your team,
Hmm.
um, but if your team is fluid, if your players are getting involved,
Yes.
everything now works in your favor as well as a striker, right? So, if you guys are saying right that the guy has the ability to right to make those key passes, to engage the midfield, the wingers, I think that could be pose a lot of problems for PSG, as
Mm.
opposed to where you have a guy like Trossard, right, who's simply a clinical finisher, but doesn't get that out of his team. Because let's face it, right? The faster the ball moves, the harder it is
Yep.
for
Correct.
the team, right? To keep up with that, right? So, yeah, no, but all in all, I think we're gonna have a good two legs. So I have it about 50-50 to be honest in terms of matchups. Yeah.
Can I just call something out that you said
Yeah.
there? Like, I actually think you're spot on with the Hakimi versus Martinelli one.
Mm,
Like that matchup almost seems like it's going to cancel each other out, because you're so spot on with your assessment of Martinelli that he doesn't have too much variety to his play in terms of one on one and how he beats his winger. Sorry, his defender. It's almost like head down in
right.
pace. He
Mm,
doesn't do too much trickery. He doesn't have too much variety in terms of creativity. It's just again head down, pace, boom, gone. Like he'll do
Yeah.
the odd 1-2 here and there, but compared to like a Kvaratskhelia,
mm.
on PSG side or Trossard, even with the trickery and stuff like that kind of trickery,
He does
Martinelli
not
doesn't
have
have
it.
that as much. And Hakimi, again, he's going up against somebody who's just as fast, if not faster. So it almost cancels each other. If you're going to just run at Hakimi and try and outbeat him for pace, it's not going to happen. Hakimi will
No.
catch you every time. You know.
Yeah.
So the one thing I think we would have to hope on for Martinelli to get the better of what's his name, Hakimi, is positioning. We would have to hope that
Yes.
we're gonna have to hope that again, back to how the way Hakimi plays, the way he bombs down the wing and flies forward. When I
Mm,
said that Martinelli will have to kind of play higher in order to keep him honest, which is, you can fly forward, Hakimi, but as soon as we win that ball, boom, you're out of position. We get that ball out wide quickly to Martinelli, and he's gone.
Yeah.
That's so positioning will be the way that Martinelli can get the better of Hakimi. Is if Hakimi gets a little bit, too giddy and caught high up, cheating a little bit, for trying to play like more of like an offensive fullback, Dani Alves style, as opposed to like an actual defender. Um, I think that's how Martinelli could get the better of him. But yeah, other than that, like one on one, if Martinelli is running at Hakimi dribbling wise, or they're both running kind of together, like it's not going to happen for him. I don't think Hakimi is too quick. I think that was a spot on assessment, so I wanted to flag that. Sorry.
So on that, Laurent, you call it 50-50. What's your what's your first leg prediction?
This is at the Emirates first leg.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
First leg at the Emirates, second leg at Parc des Princes.
Yeah, I want to say 2-2. 2-2. It's yeah, 2-2. Honestly, I just want to say stalemate. So it could be if it's 1-1, if it's one, it's gonna be 1-1. 2-2, 3-3. Like I feel like they're gonna test each other out, and then everything is gonna be decided on the return.
Since we're in the semis, give a goal scorer for a bonus
For
point.
any
Yeah.
like any team.
No, not any team. PSG or Arsenal.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, I'll go with PSG because I feel like I have a better chance there. Um, Dembele. Funny enough, I think I think he'll bag one. Yeah.
I think CJ is going to be shocked with my prediction. I'm going 3-1 to the Arsenal,
Oof.
and I'm going Saka as my goal scorer.
3-1. Yo, that is crazy. Like, I mean, okay, you got
Is
to break
it?
that down before. Yeah, yeah. I actually want to know where that's coming from. 3-1. That's a huge scoreline, man.
We
Oh, that crazy.
we controlled the game in the during the season, the Champions League season,
Hmm.
albeit PSG won on form. I do think that the way we play and the way that PSG play, it's going to suit our game style because it's the same thing with Madrid. The matchups, the way that PSG want to be on the front foot, that suits us. That suits us that we can soak the pressure and we can go on that counter and we can open up the holes because there's going to be holes for us to exploit. Um, when I'm saying 3-1, I think it's going to be a 2-1 game. We're going to get to like the 75th minute, like, some late goal. They're going to be pressing, and we're just going to get a counter and we're going to score that third goal. I do think PSG score first. I do think Saka gets us level. Maybe the second goal might be like a Mikel Merino or I don't know, maybe a Trossard getting a goal for us, and then I think either Martinelli or Saka, or even if one year he comes off the bench, a late goal breakaway or something like that, that he's going to score.
Mm.
But I don't think it's a crazy score line at the Emirates, especially because now the players know, and I promise you, Arteta is going to be fucking blaring this to them. They're going to be like, "Look, you lost the prime again. You're going to have to do the guard of honor. So do you want to be doing the guard of honor in a few weeks with that being the way that you end your season, or do you want to continue your season?" And the players are obviously going to be like, "We want to fucking continue your season. You want to continue your season? Go win the leg at home. That's
Mm.
what you did against Madrid. Go win the leg at home. Fans are going to be up for it. Everyone's going to be up for it. Go win the fucking leg at home." So that's where I get my 3-1 from, because you wanted an explanation, but I don't know, CJ, am I far off from my prediction?
This guy's a detailed, bro. Like this is the type of prediction you get from the witch doctor, bro. Like yeah. All right, all right. Well, let's
Yo,
see.
bet 365. Check the odds. PSG first goal scorer, Arsenal will win. It's probably going to be
Mm.
like 5-1 odds. Anyways, hashtag not a sponsor. Hashtag not a sponsor. And we don't endorse gambling.
No alcohol for that matter.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyways, CJ,
No, you're not far off. I don't think I can see that scoreline being possible. But my prediction is 2-1 to the Arsenal. Yeah, I think 2-1. Saka's going to score. That boy Saka, the star man, star boy. And yeah, that's my prediction. I just think I was going to ask you guys this if you guys think that PSG is going to be a tougher matchup than Real Madrid. I think
Yes,
they will be. Yeah.
Yes.
bro. Can we stop like talking about this team like they're worth shit? Like for real. Like at this point, like it's honestly starting to annoy me. Like legit.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Aren't you the one that said that you don't respect the French league?
I was gonna say, bro,
Huh?
like you're acting like you don't even rate PSG or the French league too. So like, why are you acting like that was such a gimme answer?
No, because like okay, for one, bro, Real Madrid is just awful, man. Like awful. Like you know what I mean? Like it is bad how bad they've been this season, right? So um
For their standards, mind you, again, we're talking about a team who went to a cup final and lost, and they're still technically in a title race. So for their standards, yes, this is pretty bad. But a lot of teams would be happy with that season, to be honest. But anyways,
y- sure, but I mean again, eye test, right? If we're talking eye test, like in terms of like how they've been playing, yeah, it's been bad. Mind you, yes, my comment in regards to PSG has always been as
mm.
such, right? Um, you play in a lower league. You were about to get the Invincibles until you, you know, you bottle that too in a lower league.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but funny enough, I still have to recognize the names on that team. Um, quality players, like truly, right? Like that's top 11 starting lineup that you have there. The way they've played against oppositions like Liverpool. Uh, to me, it's they're showing that they've matured in a sense. For one, right, even Murdad made comments in regards to this in the past, where with this new manager, it's not necessarily the same PSG that we've seen crash out in Champions League football, right? There's a maturity
Mhm.
to them. They have a style of play. The manager was adamant on his style of play, his system, the players he wanted. And this is the result of that, right? Thus far. Uh, now, mind you, also the reason why I said that is like I want to ask you guys this, but how do you guys feel about the PSG press? Because they press well. That's one thing I've noticed. When they press pretty down good. To the point where we've seen that against Villa, Liverpool, right, and other teams. So do you guys feel comfortable, facing that? Because they will press from the moment I think from even from your goal line, and even let's say like there's situations where you guys, you get the ball back, they're looking to press that man, right? You have two players on him, so now it's going to take players that feel comfortable, right, with that kind of pressure and playing out of that. So like, how do you guys feel about that?
Well, like for me, again, I'll say it again. This is why we're gonna miss Thomas Partey because he's one of our most press resistant guys. Anyone who knows Partey, watches Partey, that guy can get out of. He seems like he can get out of anything. He always makes the game look so easy, and it
Mhm.
makes it look like he has all the time in the world. And his forward passing, he progresses the ball forward so well. As where players like Jorginho and El Neni's in the past, when we had El Neni. Those guys, and even Declan Rice to a certain extent, they're known as the safer midfielders, the sideways and backwards passing midfielders. Partey will get
Mhm.
the ball in the half turn, split your press. The guy will go one way, and Partey will just drop a shoulder, or he'll get on the half turn, do a little bit body feint, receive the ball in a way that sets him to go forward, and he makes that progressive ball forward, and he gets the ball quickly into guys like Odegaard and our forward players because of how well he gets the ball forward. He can split the lines. So that's another reason why if you're asking me that question, I might be a little bit more worried in this game because our press resistant midfielder Thomas Partey, who receives the ball in those areas, we're not going to have that. We're not going to have him to break the lines to beat a press like that.
Mhm.
Some of the passes that Partey will make when he receives the ball in the half turn and plays forward, that can split a press. That can break two lines of a press.
Mm,
So that's something I'm a little bit fearful of, to be honest. In this game, I still think we'll be all right in terms of we have safe. Like I trust Declan Rice and those guys on the ball. Again, knock on wood, because this could be the commentator's curse, and then they just have a shocker or something. But I hope not. But again, I do trust still the guys that we have out there. to get on the ball. Again, as long as it's not Trossard in those deep positions. Um, but yeah, for overall, I think we should still be okay. Arteta would prep them well, I think, regardless for those situations. I do, like I said, hope it doesn't come back to haunt us as I'm talking here now. But it would be something I would be cautious of because you're right. I've seen PSG and the way they press, very mobile team. Their forwards are very quick and athletic and agile, so it's going to be something to watch for sure. We got to be really on it. And somebody like a Lewis Skelly who loves to get on the
Uh-huh.
ball and he loves to receive that sort of pressure. Like he almost thrives on it. He wants guys to put him under pressure when he receives the ball so that he can turn out of those spaces. He's got to be really on it this game too. Timber as well on the other side.
It's gonna be.
Okay, you agree as well,
Uh,
Merdad? Same sentiment.
yeah, I don't. I think CJ and I are on our breakdowns. I think we're pretty much very similar because we watched the game with a similar lens. I always obviously like to be a little bit more optimistic, but I agree with what CJ's saying. I think um, it's going to really come down to us. I think CJ said it multiple times last podcast, like the fine margins, and I think it's going to come down to those fine margins this game. And I think the only thing that's going for us is PSG is coming off a loss, and they were playing a huge, like they were playing their full squad, um, losing the invincible season, and coming to the Emirates. Like I think it bodes well for us, and we just need to take advantage. Hard stop,
Yeah, I'm
hard
surprised they
stop.
did that. Because I mean, you guys
It
get
was a
6 days.
Friday because they played on Friday, right?
Yeah, that's true. Wait, when you guys last played Wednesday or Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, so you guys had 6 days rest, right? Well,
Yeah.
um,
It
yeah.
goes to show what these managers think, though, compared to us, obviously, from a fan's perspective. Like, these managers obviously think, and Arteta's the same way. They want to put out a strong side to keep their players fresh. That's more so
Hmm.
probably what these managers are thinking. Like, in
Hmm.
terms of you saying that you're surprised that Enrique did that. I am, but I'm not because, like I said, for that reason, it's like, yeah, well, I get it. You want to keep your players fresh. You want to kind of look at some things when you look at your formation and personnel and get guys familiar with each other in game settings so that they carry it on into the next game.
Hmm.
So yeah, and they did have a decent enough rest between now and then. So
Mhm.
yeah, but
I
yeah,
don't
but
think
to put out that full 11 and still lose the game is not a good look, actually.
no, and yeah, that's exactly right. But I'm just trying to mentally prepare myself for the stress on Tuesday. Um, but I'll leave the floor with you guys. Um, Laurent, you want to take us away?
All right, all right.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting ready to press stop. I'm joking. I'm
So,
joking.
yeah, no, but once again, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back to cover right the post game next week Thursday, and also in the meantime, for all you Drew Garden fans out there, we're coming. We're coming for you. All right, yeah, CJ, take it away.
Jeez, how do I come in after such a heavy speech like that? Oh man, Drew Garden. Yeah, man. Nonetheless, European football is back. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know we kind of shit on Europa League and Conference League, but at the end of the day, it's football. We all love football. If anything's on the telly to watch, all three of us will tune in for the most part. Football is football, and we enjoy watching it. And we enjoy covering it. So no doubt, we'll definitely be covering all the events from the games this week, from all three European competitions, and looking forward to it. And again, yeah, it's happy. We're all happy, especially me and Murda. Obviously to be involved in the conversation at this stage in the season. Our Premier League campaign has fallen by the wayside. We're out of the FA Cup. So we're just happy that we're still in a competition that, to be relevant in to talk about at this time of the year. So yeah, this is a big one for us. We're both fucking nervous as fuck, hella nervous. I just can't wait for Tuesday to come already. Like, I'm going to need 3 pre-orders of apple juice shots before the game starts. But yeah, looking forward to it. We're going to be there live and direct. For those of you who are based in the Toronto or GTA area, Murda and myself and Laurent, well, when he comes around, sometimes we like to go to the gatherings, Resto Bar, the Yonge and St. Clair area, Arsenal centered pub. That's where you can see, great atmosphere, lively gathering. A lot of people come out, especially for the Champions League. We've been noticing, and yeah, you'll catch us there. And yeah, just generally, if you're a fan of Arsenal Football Club or just a fan of football generally, you just show up there. It's a good atmosphere. You'll watch some good football. You'll see, a good atmosphere with the Arsenal fans and whatnot. And yeah, like I said, we'll be there covering both legs with some photos and things on our Instagram story that you'll see. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a nerve-wracking one, but hopefully the outcome is in our favor. So continue to follow us and like and subscribe.
On that bombshell, see you guys on Friday. Adios.
Laters.
Easer.